Today's vlog is a fun one. It was our first year vending at Lafayette Apple Festival, and wow, what a weekend. We had our busiest Saturday ever, crossed into four-figure sales, tackled a booth setup under a giant tent, and even at one point managed to get lost in a giant field trying to find the festival. I'm not even kidding. Stick around because at the end I'm going to share some of my insights from the show and of course our top 5 best-selling product categories from the weekend. Let's dive in.
It is our 4th market weekend in a row. It has been so busy. I am waiting at the main highways park and ride for Garden Dad. We're going to go carpool up. It's Friday. We're going to go set up at Lafayette Apple Festival. We have never done Lafayette Apple Festival. I have absolutely no idea how this is going to go. I've heard mixed things. So I've heard it's great. I've heard I've been there. It is incredibly busy. I don't know if people will be buying or shopping. I have no idea. I've also heard other vendors say that they've experienced shoplifting. I'm not sure how much I believe. Like the stories they told me, I don't know. They seemed like maybe there was a misunderstanding rather than it was shoplifting. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be an experience. We get to set up today and then the market goes Saturday and Sunday. The last time I just attended this market, the line of cars was wrapped all the way up the hill to the highway. So we're going to have to find out today what time we need to arrive as vendors in order to make sure that we don't get caught in traffic, because I really don't want to get caught in traffic. I want to be at my booth and ready to go when everything opens up. But I know the market starts at 9, but they have a pancake breakfast at 7, and it's just over an hour away. It's an hour and 15 minutes away from me. So I just need to know how early in the morning we got to start our day. But we're about to check out. It's under giant tent canopies. We brought our own canopy just in case, but I don't know if we'll need it. It's going to be an adventure to see how we set up. I don't know if we'll set it up for security purposes. I don't know. I'll keep you posted, but we're about to head out.
Remember when you told me that I should take it slow, but I can't stay when the world is waiting. I'm too used to being on my own. Hearts will break, but I have to chase it. I'm dancing on the edge again. The wind is calling my name. I'm dancing on the edge again. This time I'm not looking back, babe. You can change me, you can tell me down. I'll leave echoes in every place I find. I'll break the molds with rebels mind. I'm a hurricane, a free-born mind. I remember when you told me I should settle down, but these restless feet.
It's Saturday morning. Let me tell you about Friday's setup, okay? Because I did not get a chance to update you. It was chaotic from a first-time vendor perspective. This event is huge, absolutely huge. Cars backed up to the highway. Huge, but it's run entirely by volunteers. So contact is limited. They literally send you an email saying, we're going to be mailing you a receipt. And after that, you won't hear from us until the festival. You get an envelope in the mail. They give you some parking tickets, some brief instructions, absolutely no one to contact if you have questions. And they're like, we'll see you there. So my dad and I are driving. We find the entrance that says Crafter's Entrance, or so we thought. It ran us through a field that had been poorly brush hogged. Okay, I'm guessing that's where they're going to be parking everybody. And we're like, this can't be right. There's supposed to be a place with all of our vendor information and the map for the day, because they don't send you a map with your location ahead of time. We just make our way to the tents because you can see these giant tents. We know that's where the vendors are. And we ask another vendor and they're like, oh yeah, no, you were supposed to go to the other side of the festival. These are clearly regulars, people who've been there year after year. And yeah, you're supposed to go to the other side of the festival. Instead of turning left, you're supposed to turn right, and then you go under the highway and then over across the thing, and you circle around and then you're there. And there's a sign. I'm like, okay. So we circle back, and we're like, well, can we just go like through the festival? Because there's like some like almost roads. Mostly it's just you're in a field and there's some like farmer like tire track style roads. And they're like, or you can just go back the way you came. It's just as easy. And we're like, okay. So we go back through the field that we had come out of. And I kid you not, there are 2 exit signs pointing in 2 different directions for which way to go to get back out to the road. We turn left. We follow the left-hand exit, and it brings us past mulch piles, green waste piles. Finally, there's like what looks like a man-made bridge with a drop-off, and I'm like, no, we're turning around. This is not it. So we follow the other exit sign. It gets us out. I'm like, just literally drive toward the road. Like we just got to get to the road at this point. We're in the middle of a field. So we get back onto the road. We go to like the main buildings because we can't find this left and then the right, and then we don't understand how it circles around through the highway. We didn't know what under the highway. So we just go back to the main buildings, and then I get out of the car and I'm like, hello, is anyone here that can assist? And these very nice gentlemen, now I will say they had all the dad jokes because I was like, excuse me, do you all work here? And they're like, oh, we don't work here. We don't make anything. We're all volunteers. And I'm like, okay, it's going to be one of those. I can feel it. It's going to be one of those days. So luckily they gave me decent instructions for where to go. We had to go a little bit further down the road. And there was a sign that was facing the other direction, which if you had somehow known that you had to go under the highway, you would have seen. But as a first-time vendor, not obvious. The address that exists for us to follow literally sends us to the parking lots. So by parking lots, I mean the grassy fields. So anyway, now that I know where it exists, we found our tent, we found our location, and we got all set up. We have the nicest booth neighbor, Kevin. I think his name is Kevin. He has really beautiful flower, like hydrangeas, gomphrena, dried flowers, super gorgeous. He has this really cool like setup that's entirely like built in. It's awesome. We definitely had to deal with some wind. I'm hoping the wind is gentle today, even though we're in a tent, the flaps aren't like held down. So Kevin was like, hey, he apparently comes here every year, but he's like, you can totally bungee cord those to like the tent stakes and they're not going to care. And I'm like, thank you, Kevin. Solid. That's so much better because so much stress. And then across from us, we had our neighbor that we had at the last show, which is kind of cool. So we're seeing them again. And then next to me is another vendor that does a whole bunch of crafts. It seems like she does crochet and jewelry. So I'm a little nervous that she also does fiber art, but we'll see. We've got our spots. I'm a little nervous because between Kevin and Crochet Jewelry, they each have like double-sized booths, and we're just kind of like squeezed in there as single booths. So I don't know. I've heard mixed things. They all say they haven't had to deal with theft, so that's a good news because I heard a rumor that this one has a lot of theft. So we'll see. But they said it's great every year. So I don't know if that means that like it's great because there's a lot of people or people are actually shopping. So I guess we'll find out. It's super early. We're getting ready to leave soon. And yeah, I'll keep you posted as the day progresses.
Only place I found where I feel alive and the stars will guide me. I'm dancing on the edge again. The wind is calling my name. I'm dancing on the edge again. This time I'm not looking back there. You can change me. You can tell me down. I'll leave echoes in every place I find. I'll break the molds with rebels mind. I'm a hurricane, a free born mind. A free born mind. A free born mind. You can change me.
Whew, I'm letting the Garden Girl crew hold it down right now while I take a little break. It's a little bit after 4. We've been here since, well, the market started at 9. People were shopping well before 9. I think there's a pancake breakfast that starts at 7, and they've been here the whole time. My feet are killing me. We're on basically a hill here. We're under a giant tent. You can see like big canopy tent. But I think this is a semi-permanent structure because there's like this gravel and the like ground is tapered so that the water, if it rains, will run off to the edges of the tent. So I've been standing on a hill all day. But let me tell you, this has been an amazing show. I literally haven't gotten a chance to talk. before now. I ran quickly to get some french fries and I walked a little bit. I'll show you that footage. We've been so slammed. This might be one of our busiest shows ever, and I really didn't know how it was going to go. So I'm excited that we've at least had a good day. There's a chance it's going to rain overnight, so we're going to have to really button up our stuff. I'm going to take home anything that could get damaged in water while we are under a tent. The sides, there's a few holes, and if it's wind driven, you never really know what'll get wet. So we're going to play safe tonight just in case, but then hopefully we'll have another good day tomorrow. So I'll show you how we kind of buttoned up. We used the sides of our tents to cover all of our shelving units, which I think was actually a good way to go. We almost put up a tent inside this tent, but I think it would have been too much. We are a small booth that's kind of tucked between two bigger booths, and I think having like the walls down and enclosing us would have just cut like our line of sight and made it harder for people to find us. So I'm glad that we kept it open and we just kind of close everything up at night by putting the walls kind of around the shelves, and they're supposed to have security roaming at night, so that's good too, and so far so good. So I'll keep you posted on the happenings and what happens overnight with the rain, and then we'll jump back in tomorrow.
Tell me down, I'll be fake in every place I find. I break the molds with rebels' mind. I'm a hurricane, a free born. You can't change me, you can tell me down. I'll be fake in every place I find. I break the molds with rebels' mind. I'm a hurricane, a free.
It's Sunday morning. It's about 8:38. The market starts at 9. There are people here starting to browse already because there's a pancake breakfast. The booth was fine overnight, which was absolutely great. It was a little damp because it's just freezing this morning. I just took off my over sweatshirt. I'm down to just a regular sweater. I could literally see my breath this morning, but it's starting to warm up. Sun's coming out. There was a lot of fog, so it's starting to clear, so hopefully we're going to have a good day. Yesterday, it was way too busy to even chit-chat, so we'll see when I get the next chance to update you. Hoping for another good day.
A little bit after 4 o'clock, checking in again. We had another nice day. It's a little bit slower than Saturday, but it was still good. Be sure to stay tuned to the end I'm going to give you the top 5 bestsellers from this market and a little bit of a recap, some notes. This is our first time at this market, and I think it might be one that we consider doing again, but there's some pros and cons, as with all of the markets. I'm entering the point of burnout with all of these markets, so I really got to kind of pick and choose if we want to continue doing them. If so, which ones? So let's talk it through with a little bit of a recap.
I'm home after an incredibly full weekend at Lafayette Apple Festival, and I wanted to sit down with you and give my real honest recap from the weekend. What went well, what we stand to improve on, things we can change for next year, and of course my top 5 best-selling products from my show this weekend. This was our busiest Saturday, at least this year, but I think maybe ever. We had a really busy weekend. The weekend we went to Ithaca, but that was a 3-day weekend, so traffic was a little bit more spread out. This Saturday, I'm talking it was nonstop, super steady, which was amazing. We brought in just over $2,600 on this 2-day outdoor market show, which I think is fantastic. Compared to our highest revenue market this year, let's do a little comparison. The other market was a 3-day market. This was a 2-day market. The other one had a higher booth fee. This one had a lower booth fee. I think all in all, we got really lucky with weather. The weather was absolutely perfect, which I think helped drive traffic. But I think that this one was good return on investment overall. The fee was lower. We had great sales. Overall, I think this is a show that I would definitely do again. Lafayette Apple Festival is always super duper busy. I think Rain would have maybe lowered attendance a little bit, but because it's such a popular show, I'm guessing we still would have had a good amount of foot traffic. I don't think it would have dwindled into nothing. That's kind of the risk. We had really good weather this year. We did really well, but we also had really good weather. And weather is one of those unpredictable factors. But people that are committed to going and don't mind getting a little bit muddy, I think they still would have showed up for this show. Okay, so pros of the show should we choose to do it next year. I think there's really strong sales potential at this show, which is exciting. We had a 10 by 10 booth, which is a standard booth, but we were between two larger booths. So we were kind of like tucked between these two extravagant booths, and we still did what I would consider very, very well in sales. I think that means that if next year we decided to expand our booth, which is something I would consider changing, maybe do a 20 by 10 booth, we would have even more room for people to shop and to notice us as they're walking by. And I think that could help extend our potential for sales. Now, it would be our first time having done a double booth, and I would need to bring more product. But my goal for next year is to do fewer shows and to really focus on the ones that have good return on investment, the ones where I'm meeting people who love to engage, who love our product, where it's a good fit for us as a business. And customers were ready to shop. I know the economy can be tough right now, especially here in the States, but there were people ready and willing to shop. It's great timing because it's just before the holidays. And it was a great fall weekend. People want to get out, enjoy the weather before it turns snowy here in New York. So I think the timing is good and it was definitely worthwhile. Now this show attracts thousands of people. I want to just share a few tips for if you are thinking about experiencing a bigger show. This show has thousands and thousands of people that attend it every single year. So one of the first things I want to mention, big shows bring every type of shopper. And this show I think is particularly unique because they have almost every type of salesperson. They had resellers, they had small crafters, they had artisans, they had produce, they had food, which is really cool. There's a big diversity, a great variety of vendors available. So what does this mean? Not every shopper is going to want to shop with you, and that's okay. Not every person that's shopping, you might not be in their budget, in their ballpark. So you might get a few people that are going to wince at your prices if you're priced higher. Like me, I tend to have slightly higher prices because I have higher quality materials that I'm using. I value my time. This is my full-time business, and that's okay. Those might not be your people. I know I've winced in booths. It's, inadvertent. Don't worry about them. You won't make everybody happy. And I know that it's tough to have people that might scoff at your prices or just be, they might just move on, and that's totally okay. Try not to worry about them. Don't get in your head about it. If you're like me, sometimes it feels like, oh man, I start questioning are my prices too high? Do I need to come down? No, we value time, we value quality, and that's okay. It's okay if your products aren't in someone's budget. No big deal. Or maybe just right now isn't the moment. Maybe they don't have their paycheck yet. Maybe they're saving up for a big trip, but next year they'll be ready to shop with you. Don't worry. There is room for all different price points and all different types of products at these big festivals. And that's what I love. When you start walking from tent to tent, there is such a variety. There's going to be a little bit of a place for everyone and for everyone to shop. Tip number 2, stock in depth with your bestsellers. Now, this is our first year, so I didn't know what our bestsellers were going to be yet at this show, and I'm glad I tracked it because it wasn't exactly what I was expecting. So next year, I've taken notes, I've input it into my spreadsheet. I know what the top sellers were. I know what sold best at this specific show, what styles and patterns everyone looked for in my bags, and what types of products they want to see for next year. So knowing that, I'll be able to stock up on the things that my customers want to see so that I'm better prepared and can make even more sales for next year. So if you're planning to do a big show, bring deep stock of your best sellers and take note of which products are doing well, because it might be different products than you expect. And tip number 3, consider your booth size strategy. At a bigger show, bigger booths are going to get the first look, right? It's going to be easier to shop. There's going to be more space. When it is crowded, it is easier to shop when there is more shopping space. I mean, I guess that just makes sense. I went just as a shopper today to a smaller show, and it was hard to walk around because the aisleways were so tight you couldn't even navigate around people. And for me, you want more space. Now, at this Lafayette show, the aisles were huge, but as a tiny little booth next to giant, beautiful booths, next year, I think I want to double so that I have a little bit more presence among these bigger vendors. And I think having a little bit more presence is going to give my shoppers more room to shop, more room to breathe, so they're more likely to come in and have a Garden Girl experience. I think having a double booth, yes, it'll be more expensive, but I think it could really increase the sales potential for next year. Which brings me to track everything, or at least track what's selling and what's not. Track which designs you're selling. If there's products and you have different fabrics or different patterns on them, different sticker types. In fact, I might even start, now that I know which stickers I have, start inputting specific stickers. I'm tempted just to kind of keep track of my inventory a little bit better. Right now I have a generic sticker code and I might actually break it down by like illustration or design. Keep in mind, track everything because it's going to be so important for your analytics later and for your analytics next year. It's going to be hard to remember what's sold a year later. Having those analytics to look back on to see what you should stock up on before a show is really going to make a huge difference. If you want to learn how to create SKU codes and how to track your inventory in a Square system, I have a whole video on it. I'll share it right up here or in the description below so that you can track your analytics and figure out what your best sellers are. And speaking of tracking, let's talk about my top 5 best-selling products from the weekend. I know this is everyone's favorite, so let's go ahead and talk about all of the products that did really, really well at Lafayette Apple Festival in my booth. Coming in at number 5 were our family quilts. Our woodland family quilts do really, really well, which I'm really glad about. There was a time when quilts just kind of were dwindling, but I think these ones are super cute. And these ones are not my fabric designs. I just do the long arm quilting, but I think I want to design a few that are my illustrations just to keep them all on brand. But I need to mark out some time. So that might be a January project. Having more minky ones next year. We have cotton and then we have the soft, soft, soft minky. It's luxuriously soft. I'm going to have even more in stock. I just reordered the fabric so that I can make even more for my holiday shows. Coming in at number 4 are 4-inch hometown city embroidered hoops, our ornaments. So these are little hometown holiday ornaments or wall art. We offer them with a New York State outline. I hand stitch a tree on there and it comes with your hometown, whatever hometown you have. I have an assortment on hand, usually the most popular ones, but I always bring my custom order forms in case someone wants a custom city or town. Our most popular from this show were our home, which is generic, but it's a good one if you've got multiple favorite hometowns in your area or if you're just looking for a general New York State gift. And of course, because Lafayette is near Syracuse, we sold a lot of our Syracuse area cities and towns. Coming in at number 3 were our stickers. And I'm going to have to reorder our turtle stickers and our bookish stickers. And in fact, I think I'm going to need to make even more bookish stickers because I've had a lot of requests for even more book stickers. So again, we're adding it to the January list of more things for me to illustrate, which I absolutely love. So we're going to have to come out with a whole line of bookish stickers. But stickers came in at number 3. They are waterproof, dishwasher safe, weather resistant, all that good stuff. So people can throw them on their tumblers or their water bottles and just enjoy a little piece of art. Coming in at number 2 were our travel and cosmetic bags, and specifically our floral and watercolor cosmetic bags, which is a little bit of a switch up. Usually it's our dog and our cat pouches, but this time people were really digging the florals, which is interesting because I had sold out of my dog and cat pouches the previous weekend, and so I restocked ready to go because I thought they were going to be just as popular, and it turns out everyone wanted my floral bags, so I wish I had stocked up more on those, but that's okay. I now know for next time that this show, they love florals. Note to self, this is why we track our analytics. And coming in at number 1 is our hand embroidered jewelry. And mostly we sold floral jewelry, like little rosettes, flower jewelry, and also our landscape jewelry. Now, my hands started getting tingly making the hand embroidered jewelry. So while I'm still going to be hand embellishing certain details, French knots, my little rosettes, a lot of the satin stitching, I am training my embroidery machine to do. So they are still my designs. I'm drawing my illustrations on an iPad. I am bringing them over to my computer. I am translating them in embroidery software so this machine stitches my artwork into jewelry, which is amazing because that way I can make even more jewelry and have even more stock for next time. Friends, when we can work a little better and take care of our bodies, I think it's worth it. And it's still going to have a handmade touch. I finished them all by hand, and a lot of them I'm adding metallic details by hand. So it's just going to be a little bit easier on my hands and a little bit faster so I can have even more jewelry to share. And I had an interesting request for apple jewelry next year. I always do pumpkins, and I guess it makes sense. I'm at 2 Apple festivals. I should probably have apple jewelry. And I guess my only concern has been if you're making like little apple stud earrings, will they look like tomatoes? I think I might have to kind of like lobe them a little bit. I'm going to have to find a way to make sure, and maybe like a big leaf. I'm going to have to make sure I find a way to make sure they look like apples and not tomatoes, because I think that's an absolute great idea. This is why I like going to shows, because I get customer feedback and I hear exactly what they want to see next. With these categories in mind, I'm going to know exactly what to prioritize next year, which makes analyzing my business so much easier and knowing exactly what categories of product I need to be working on. Tracking seriously makes all the difference. Overall, I think this show was a great reminder that a combination of the right show, the right audience, the right place, and good weather definitely makes a huge difference with having a successful market weekend. I'm feeling tired, but in the best way. It felt so good to get out into the community and to meet so many amazing people. A busy Saturday is always a happy place to be. I love chit-chatting, getting feedback, and meeting so many of you in person and of course here on YouTube. I'm really grateful for all of you who support my business both in person and from afar, whether it be at these markets and shows or in my online shop or in my Etsy shop. And I really just can't thank you enough, because this has been so much fun, and I'm glad that there's a little place here for me to share all of my creative adventures. And of course, if there's something you want to see or you want to hear about, let me know in the comments below. I'm always happy to share more where I can and to try to share some of my experience with you. As always, I'm going to link some of my favorite market supplies in the description below. And if you love market vlogs, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'd love to keep adventuring along with you. Until next time, friends, happy creating.